5. Sanctity and God's will. Presence of God. I place myself in the presence of Jesus, in the Eucharist, asking Him to penetrate my soul with His words. He that doth the will of my Father, who is in heaven, he shall enter into the kingdom of heaven. Mt 7:21. Meditation. 1. The path which leads to sanctity, that is, to God, can be marked out only by God Himself, by His will. Jesus expressed this very strongly when He said, "Not everyone that saith to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doth the will of my Father, who is in heaven, he shall enter into the kingdom of heaven." Mt 7:21. And to show that the souls who are most closely united to Him, the ones He loves most, are precisely those who do the will of God, He does not hesitate to say, "Whosoever shall do the will of my Father, that is in heaven, he is my brother, and sister, and mother." Ibid. 12:50. The saints learned in the school of Jesus. Saint Teresa of Avila, after having received the most sublime mystical communications, did not hesitate to declare, "The highest perfection consists not in interior favors, or in great raptures, or in visions, or in the spirit of prophecy, but in the bringing of our wills so closely into conformity with the will of God that, as soon as we realize He wills anything, we desire it ourselves with all our might, and take the bitter with the sweet." F5. Saint Teresa of the Child Jesus echoes this statement. The more joyfully souls do His will, the greater is their perfection. St. 1. True love of God consists in adhering perfectly to His holy will, not desiring to do or be other than what God indicates for each of us, to the point of becoming, as it were, a living will of God. Seen in this light, sanctity is possible for every soul of good will. It is not impossible that a soul which leads a humble, hidden life may adhere to the divine will as well, and perhaps even better than a great saint who has received from God an exterior mission, and has been enriched with mystical graces. The perfection of a soul may be measured by the degree to which it does the will of God, and finds its happiness in doing it. 2. To become saints we must have total conformity of our will with God's. It is necessary, then, that there should be nothing in our soul which is not in harmony with the divine will, and that our actions be motivated by His will alone. Divine union consists in the soul's total transformation, according to the will, in the will of God, so that there may be naught in the soul that is contrary to the will of God, but that, in all, and through all, its movement may be that of the will of God alone. J. 11:2. In all our actions we are always impelled by love, love of ourselves, love of creatures, or love of God. As long as the soul clings to the least thing contrary to God's will, that is, to some irregular attachment to self or creatures, it will often act, not under the impulse of God's love, but through a desire for personal satisfaction, or because of a disordered love of creatures, and therefore will walk apart from God's will. Sin is not the only thing which is opposed to God's will. Even the slightest imperfection or deliberate attachment prevents the soul from acting under the motion of God's will alone. But when the soul no longer has any attachments, and is entirely free from love of self and of creatures, it can adhere to God alone, acting only according to His will, and living moment by moment according to His good pleasure. The soul thus transformed has lost its will in the will of God, and therefore is perfectly united to God Himself. This is the essence and the apex of sanctity. Colloquy. O my God, you make me understand that the only thing necessary is your holy will, that it is my one and only treasure. In this life, what can be more beautiful, more safe, more perfect and more holy than to do your will? You have given me free will. To what better use can I put it than to make it adhere to your divine will? If I should perform great works and carry out marvelous undertakings which are not fully in accordance with your will, they would have no value for eternity, and would therefore be destined to perish, whereas the slightest works done according to your will have an eternal value. O Lord, I know that I am nothing. I acknowledge the weakness of my poor will, which now turns to one good, now to another, and considers as good what is really imperfection, fault, sin. But your will is indefectible. You can desire nothing but the true, sovereign good. Hence, you desire only my good, my salvation, my sanctification. Nothing, then, can be more advantageous to me than to consecrate my will to yours, O my God. At this moment, O Lord, I freely consecrate my will to you without reserve. Grant that your will may always be fulfilled in me, in the way which is most pleasing to you. If you wish me to do this by means of trials, give me strength, and let them come. If by means of persecutions and sickness and dishonor and need, here I am, my Father, I shall not turn my face away. DJ 32. So many times I have made you the offering of my will, consecrating it to you, and declaring that I wanted nothing but your divine will. But an equal number of times, alas, I have taken back my offering, and in my actions, labors, and apostolic works, instead of allowing myself to be guided by you, I have been led more. Personal satisfaction. How far I am, O Lord, from losing my will in yours. How attached I still am to my own ideas and tastes. How many things still remain in me which are contrary to your will. Give me light to recognize them, and strength to free myself from them. I confess that every time I draw away from your will, even if only in little things, to act according to my own will, I feel remorse and a lessening of peace in my soul. Only in your will is my good, my peace, my salvation, my sanctification. O Lord, hear my poor prayer once more. I offer you my will. Take it, keep it a prisoner, so that I shall never be able to withdraw my offering. With Saint Teresa of the Child Jesus, I repeat, my God, I will not be a saint by halves. I am not afraid of suffering for you. One thing only do I fear, and that is to follow my own will. Accept, then, the offering I may covet, for I choose only that you will. TCJST 1.